watch Optic play this versus Toronto. That was the two best sub-base teams we had in the game, and Optic were able to edge out Toronto by a little bit. So they're still sitting flawless on this map. Rotations are basically perfect. Hold percentage and break percentage are not really needed when you're that team early on.
Absolutely the case. And I think importantly, even though you see second in rotation, fifth in hold, they were great at holding the money hills. Talk about that P4 that they had versus Toronto, not once but twice. They looked great on it. So a lot of focus here for Miami to make sure they keep up with what Optic want to do on the map. So jump on into subbase, map number 1. And well, Shotzi, we often expect him to pull out a 4th MCW. This time it's just a rival 9 with Pred to start, and Miami have dealt with the initial push well.
And Miami, they have been sitting around all day just waiting to play this last match. I was hoping that they came out swinging and finding every single kill in the feed is the perfect answer. But I don't know if they were going to be able to read those spawns being flipped right there from Optic Texas.
Yeah.
You were way too aggressive up through calm side. You had such a perfect start, but just being on that aggressive on that side of the map gives Optic those spawns over towards next, so they can set up off that rotation to that new HP.
Decent read though for Miami. It's all about now knowing, of course, we lost on the P2 side, but can we find a lot of time here on the first? And so far so good. 27 seconds is nothing to sneeze at. And an opportunity with Nico actually pushing forward to maybe create a bit of a disturbance in the spawns, but the quick trade from Dashi will keep things stable for Optic moving over to second.
Yeah, good start so far from Miami. You find a lot of time at that P1 HP. But now you need to show your prowess in that break percentage on this map. You are second overall in this stage. You have found a lot of success in that category, but you can see the setup from Optic Texas is so far spread. You got players watching the backside. You also have Shotzi already pushed up in towards warehouse, making sure he's keeping the front side of this HP covered. And Miami have yet to get close to this hill.
Yeah, Lucky around the back though does take down Kenny, so a break does come through. 33 seconds to fight for, and good awareness from Metals. Gets a read that Optic are still spawning a couple of players backside sub, so they really stave off this split hit that Optic are trying to set up very nicely. 47 plays 20, and this is what I was kind of wondering about. You know, Miami's gotten a lot of recent reps in this map, and so far they are. We're keeping lockstep here with the Optic rotations.
Yeah, this used to be one of their bread and butter maps, and so far coming out swinging out the gates, but all the kills in the feed are going to be green, and the spawns now flip. So this is the perfect case scenario for Optic Texas to start to run up in this scoreboard. As now you're going to find yourself off the rotation over towards P3. Great snap right there out of Pred. He also finds that kill on the Metals, so he's on 5 in a row.
And he's got to read that. Lucky's up top. Yeah, 6 in a row for Pred. Oh, for number 7. And here come the green wall in full force. And now Pred, he can just hang out here as long as he wants, trying to make life difficult for Miami. But as the first 20 seconds come and go, there is an immediate spawn out here. Miami moving with some speed over towards P3.
Oh, and this is going to catch them off guard because you're thinking Optic Texas, we had all of mid-map control. We were trying to play the cutoff kills, but someone simply just has to put themselves in a position to block that back spawn. You gift it to Miami, and they're taking full advantage of it. Only 25 seconds remaining here. And this should be all of their time. Now Optic Texas forced to try to keep them trapped on this side of the map and win that rotation over to that P4, which was a money hill versus Toronto.
And it's just, again, this has been the staple of how Miami have won hard points. They find their way through the mixy moments to still secure breaks. And on that, it's usually coming through pretty convincingly. Pissed a lot Lucky was predicting the drop down doesn't fully come true. And so Optic will get themselves set up as the P4 will open. Real going to get tested down low. A little snap almost gives Pred a workout, but not really much concern there as Pred continues to keep a hot map going for him.
Yeah, and all the kills that they're finding in the feed, the good thing is that not a single player from Miami are going to get that good spawn behind P4. So great map control so far from Optic Texas. This was a money hill that they found a lot of success on every single time that they get to this position. Because look at just how far they are pushed out through the middle of the map. Yeah. They know when they are applying pressure, how the spawns are going to be. And as long as they're finding all those kills through the middle of the map, no one from Miami are going to get that blessed spawn towards the backside to lead to a break.
That's a free 40 seconds right there for Optic. And just like that in the blink of an eye, they are not just right back in the game. They have a chance to take the lead pretty convincingly. And now Pred is going to get to top warehouse. And again, the rotations from Optic, these players that find themselves mid-map are so quick to take more ground once they feel like there's security behind them. And Pred has really been the ideal exhibit of that. 17 and 8, 3 in a row again, still holding on to that cruise missile.
He's just finessing. I'm pretty sure he's the best sub-base player we have in the entire league. His KD's at like a 1.8 overall. So he has fun whenever he's using his MCW in hand. And he already has that cruise missile in the back pocket. He's just relying on the teammates to win those gunfights through the map so he can keep them trapped towards the backside of this warehouse. But now you know you have to work your way back over towards this HP, try to fill that gap for someone to at least hop on that hill.
Yeah, awareness on this warehouse push is good. Pred gonna calm out that there are 2 Heretics members trying to make this play over towards the backside of P5. Real sliding forward, allows Metals and a look over to the gunfight, but it doesn't make a difference. Pred is not losing his ones right now. You can call him his 2s because he's in these 1v2s time and time again. Another one down low. Kenny will finish things off, and the Thunder from down under is letting Miami know about it.
And this is where it gets scary because Pred, when he's on a terror like this, you gotta imagine the comms will be firing in as well. So let's step aside and go to listening with Optic.
Long and low server.
I have server.
I have long. Somebody play the top.
Low server.
I'll get time.
I have top server.
Top server.
Top server. Look at that.
I got top.
I'm server. One got the right, bros. One be server right. Left server. Red medals. One top. Hey. What's open?
Long.
Got through me right. I have long. I hear you.
Two bottom server.
I have long, Brandon.
No one come right. I hear you.
Okay, I have long. Top server. Let the long. I help, Brandon. I push it down. Two lockers. One lockers.
I have the right.
Karen, one top. Karen, one top. Real.
I go on top. Karen ran through.
I saw behind him. AG live. I'm in. Top right.
Yeah.
All right, 2-0. Front server in.
Submarine.
Bottom server at the top.
I'm saying
left. Okay, yeah.
One to you. One shot on me on the plat. The plat dead.
Yes, AG.
One top server, maybe no. Top server, guys, on.
Okay, live that guy.
What is backloading? He's on the back fences.
I'm holding back on you.
I already top too. They go back top. They go back left.
For sure. Loading, one shot real. Loading real, one shot.
Top two. I need help. There's somebody back left.
That's it, back left. There's 2 back left.
Which one? I'm here, JJ. I'm here.
I'm trying to get the
I go. He went to the
I'm getting top.
Listen, Nico's top server.
That's him. He's from P2 right now.
Can you put me?
No. AJ, you gotta live.
P2. He did the jump.
One shot front, 2 front. I got a streak, by the way.
I'm playing this one.
It's a third right.
Thunder.
So you got a streak?
No. I'm pitching me, bro.
Look at break.
When is the top zone?
One shot.
I need time.
Top one shot medals.
I need time.
Pitch me. Run at me mid.
I spawn on. I need
Real.
time.
One shot from two. We Real. Last guy.
Loading. Lucky.
I hear you.
Lucky on time.
Real money when it's on. Bro. Make it
No,
I mean, a career map right now for Pred, 27-12, but Miami, their break percentages continue to make life difficult, and their P1 has really carried the score to this point.
Yeah, they have had 70 points at that P1 HP, but finally they find themselves in a situation where they can chain it over to the P2. Optic Texas, they find the break at this moment with only 15 seconds left, and this is the ideal thing because now you have the rotation over towards the next HP. You have Kenny watching the overextension on that side of the map, and Pred killing everything in front of him. So he's going to find himself in another one-on-one versus Real. He's just going to apply the pressure. He's trying to hit the shots with the Renetti and a 31-12 start. The Predator is frying.
Hardpoint open, though, and Miami have made their way around the block again, and here we go. It's just, man, every single time you start to see this Miami team and you think that they're out of the picture, someone pops off for a 2-piece, and all of a sudden Miami are the ones to actually win rotation over with spawns coming in.
And Optic, they are outslaying the hell out of Miami right now. They're just not doing the fundamental parts correctly, but Pred somehow, some way, works his way all the way from P2, late off the rotation to new. He's able to find a double, make it a triple, and now the teammates are here to help him. But you still do not have these spawns, so Miami are just staying in this game.
Just barely, hanging on by a thread. A chance, though, for them to get this thing right back to level terms. And the exit kills are looking pretty decent. Kenny trying to contest the exit as well, the least lockdown warehouse side, but the route over towards water becomes wide open. That's where the next fight's going to come through.
All tied up at 177 apiece. But now Miami have to find a break in towards P4 where they couldn't find any success the first go around. And if you're looking at the kill feed, it's all green. Kenny now finds himself on 5 in a row. Pred already has himself a cruise missile, but how patient is Real going to play this play?
He has to stay here until some success from the front starts to come through. Shotzzy watching the ladder the whole way. The pistol shots are decent, but doesn't beat the MCW. Locked in on the ladder. Over 200 points goes the green wall. Miami still finding ways to create opportunities from the front. Shotzzy steps in to block it all out. Pistol out. Looking for the bot beatdown. Not going to happen, but Optic still with the proximal spawns. Find more time here. 20 seconds to fight.
Yeah, this is big time as well. You want to fight for every second that you potentially can. But the break is here for Miami. Now the spawns for Optic Texas all around the map. You're going to have 2 players at that warehouse side. Are going to hit that early rotation. But Miami finding this break with the final 20 is still keeping them in this game. But now at this P5 HP, this is where Pred, he's been felt with his weapon. Yeah. But off the rotation, you have to make sure this is probably the hill that you invest that cruise missile.
Dashy down low. A couple different Heretics members trying to isolate. Not able to do so to this point, and Dashy will make good on the information he himself gained. but still Lucky from behind keeps the hardpoint neutral. And as much as Optic are playing all around the map, they're not able to stay inside the hill, at least not to be contested. So Dashy looking for Lucky, able to help tally that up with Kenny, and now the kills will allow Optic to get on the point.
Yeah, and this is perfect because Optic Texas have put themselves in a winning position. You already have all the control that you want, but just one more set of kills is going to get the job done. Pred on the hill, unfortunately loses that fight to Vico. Kenny there for the trade. Optic still need 10 points to close out map 1.
Kenny gets a second metal shred over towards the top side at P2, and now it's just down to finding the last player into Lucky. No worries there, and this could be the nail meat in the coffin. Kenny still staying alive, gets himself on a 6 in a row. No second cruise missile needed, though. Optic stay undefeated on the sub base, and Pred letting them know about it with the career map number 1.
Yeah, Pred takes off in that map number 1. But if you're Optic Texas, you're definitely going to go back in the VOD review and say that should have been a lot easier. We're finding all the kills on the map, but everyone at a point in the game was playing all cutoffs. No one was blocking certain spawns. That's why Miami were able to stay in the game the way that they were. They basically only found success on that P1 HP.
Yeah.
They chained it a little bit to P2. Every single time at P3, Optic were just way too aggressive up to the little map, and Miami took advantage of that blessed back spawn. But the closing moments, Optic Texas just got it done.
And it's one of those things too, like as much as you can give credit for Miami finding success in their breaks, you're often not going to win hard points by just breaking kills, especially not in this game, especially not on this map. You have to be able to rotate better. So even though the objective focus in those mixy moments was decent, again, the outslaying potential of Optic, allowing them a little bit more freedom on the rotation, led to what you're going to see the game flow, which is a pretty wide gap that stayed at least in their favor throughout the majority of this map.
Yeah, and you got to take it with a grain of salt as well if you're Miami, because you found a lot of successful breaks due to the blessed spawns that you were able to get. It's not like you were out rotating them in certain situations. Just Optic were making mistakes and you were taking full advantage of it. Unfortunately, they could not clutch up in the very end like they were doing all throughout yesterday. So now they find themselves down 0-1, but at least for them, they have that 6-star search and destroy, which has been a bread for them all throughout this major qualifiers.
And kind of harkening back to what you're saying, you know, Miami punishing teams for the mistakes that they make. That has been how they found the majority of their either map wins or in particular series wins. We saw it a lot versus the Thieves earlier in this tournament. You can even say the same thing versus Vegas in a really tough opener that they had. But ultimately speaking, once you start to get to the top 4 overall squads in the standings, these are teams that don't make mistakes all that often. So you have to be able to create your own opportunities, not take the ones your opponents are giving you.
Yeah, and now going into the search and destroy, you have players who love to set the tone on a map like 6-star. In Real and Metals, and also Lucky, who's always phenomenal on that defensive side. Optic Texas only had 1 rep on the 6-star search and destroy, and it was versus LAG. They were able to close it out in the 6-4 with a lot of their success happening on that attacking side. So just got to stay strong in that too.
Yeah, 3 straight wins here for the side of Miami.
Yeah,
you mentioned the LAT, LV, but also in the regular group stage, they beat Atlanta on this map. So, and the thing that's really, I think, fun about the Miami search and destroy is that, I'm sure the observers don't love this, but anyone can provide for first blood.
Yes.
They play as a full concentrated 4-man squad in the first 45 seconds of every round, looking to overwhelm. And it doesn't have to be an SMG forward hit. It can be ARs trying to lock things down. It's just so dynamic of how they want to approach you as soon as they're able to get out of spawn.
And they usually have their same go-to strategy on 6-star. The player who's going over towards that B side most likely have to be prepared for that, because that's where the Miami Heretics tend to dominate, is on that defensive side. They're great on their retake situations. They're great in their opening first bloods. So if you are Optic Texas, you just got to try to work that objective, which they do really well in this map.
Yeah, very, very well. Rounds with plants, they rank number 1, but again, they've only played it
one time.
The one time,
yeah.
So you know the sample size is not exactly what I would call scientifically valid. But that told, that has not just been the case on 6-star. It has been that way throughout just about every single map we've seen in the most recent stretch through this Major 3 qualifiers. But for Miami, it's really interesting because it's hard, I think, to put a finger on what do you look at in terms of what is their main identity. You know, they've done well to kind of find their way some respawn wins, but their search and destroy has kind of sneakily so been great for them.
Yeah, they've been taking over in this mode, and the majority of that success has been through Highrise, has been through 6-star, so that's why they're happy as hell. They have in this 6-star, which is their map pick in this map number 2. You can see the defensive records, those stand out. Opening dual win percentage, 55% of the time. That's fantastic. That means that you are at least better than the half the team.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And again, 6 in a row, like Nameless mentioned. dating back in towards the regular qualifying stage. So trying to keep that streak alive, and like you said, at the top of this one, you have to have it. If you want to have a chance in this series, you have to pull map 2. And honestly, I was kind of looking at this series saying you have to win map 1, map 2, and map 4. The high-rise control doesn't feel all that great, and you just don't want to square up against Optic on Invasion Surge. So it feels like the lifeline here is you have to win 2, 3, 4 now.
This is a guaranteed map because you're going into that map number 3, which is guaranteed in high-rise control, where Miami are 0-3 at this major, but they're actually 0-5 in the last 5 times they played it. They just simply haven't found any success in the slaying department. And you're going up against Optic Texas, who are one of the best, if not the best, slaying team in the game. So we were worried about that as we go forward. But this search and destroy is going to be so big for Miami. You got to be able to talk out strategies, fill out what you're trying to do, make sure you're accounting for shots, because you know how much ground he's able to cover with this movement. But one thing that truly does scare me now is the performance out of Pred in that map number 1. Because if you remember that search and destroy that they played versus Toronto, they had a 4v2 round where Pred finds an opening kill, but then instantly goes for that ego chow, and then they lose that 2v4. So you played fantastic in map number 1, but you have to keep the teamwork as the dream work in this map number 2.
I love the call. On the same front, a lot of the strengths of Miami come off of their ability to also be aware of their number situation, especially in offense. Get a plant, hold it. Their post-plant success rate is amongst the top in the league. So it feels like that's kind of a focus point for both of our 2 teams, making sure that we're using our numbers to best play around the objective. Small sound issue on stage there, Fred, but we're getting close here for the 6-star search. And, you know, I guess just kind of overall, does this recent run for Miami kind of breed new life to them potentially being not just a top 8 team, but maybe even someone battling for a top 6, top 5 in your mind?
Oh yeah, without question, because Real just joined the squad for this qualifiers, and obviously you've played a lot of tough competition all throughout that. But when you get to LAN, you were able to clutch up in a lot of these moments. A game 5 versus the Vegas Legion, a clutch up series versus LAT, insane comeback in map number 1, and a 1v2 out of lucky to take that search and destroy. But now you have to find some ice here versus Optic Texas, who have been great in search and destroy. But Miami, they're no pushover either.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And Metals has been that guy for the side of Miami. His opening duel win percentage amongst the rest of his teammates is at the top. But it really could come from anyone at any given moment in time. Optic, no trophies obviously here in round number 1, are still looking to go pretty darn quickly. A look over the top, seeing Metals at range. And they also have cleared up at least a look over towards that bottom bridge, just down to does vehicle actually pop up and check this? And yeah, they sure do. Lucky also assisting. Follow-up from Kenny, though, nearly finding the double. Not quite, and it's just down to Dashy for a 1v3.
Yeah, that's tough right there. Miami knew where the pressure was coming in. They had a 2-2 split, and at least you're able to eliminate that bomb carrier. So now you know the bomb is going to be in the hands of Dashy. Left in a 1v3, makes it a 1v2 with 45 seconds.
And Miami are just making sure they can re-clear out this bottom side of the map. Try to isolate, at least in some regard, where Dashy can go. But they're quickly going to realize that he has gone to B. Bomb's going to be planted, and now everything resets as Dashy will try to play this over from the P2 side of the map.
He's the most clutch player that we have in search and destroy. Can Dashy start us off with a 1v3? Time starting to tick down, but gives himself an angle to at least peep the bomb. Once he gets that info, and now he knows he can potentially hit a route.
Yeah, absolutely the case. This is all about down to, does he check it again as Real has hopped on? And oh, Lucky is not watching over the top from the right angle, so now it's just down to the 1v1. Lucky right back over towards the bomb, looking to see when the next challenge from Dash is going to come through. There's the shoulder, but Lucky holds down the trigger, finds the shot, and with that, plenty of time for the defuse.
I thought Dashy was going to spot him when he threw that initial shoulder, but I guess Lucky wasn't easy to be spotted. He's able to hold his irons through the middle of the map, not allow Dashy to gain all the momentum from Optic Texas in a 1v3 to start this one off. Plays it patient, knows that he eventually has to come back and check the bomb, and he's able to find that kill, secure the defuse from Miami, not to let a 1v3 happen.
That would have been an immensely poor start to this map after what was a great opening duel over the top of the statue. Really well done by Miami to get their first blood percentages again, up and up and up and up. But what do you have here on offense? This has been the side of the map that they've really struggled on, comparatively at least to their defense. So what's the first offer? It looks like it's going to be a 2-2 split. A couple of nades, a couple of shots over to the B side of the map, but Shotzi's still pushing forward, and he's going to be left on an island here towards this A site.
Yeah, he's going to be the sole man over towards A. You do have Kenny watching over the top side of the statue. Trying to go back and forth between that and middle map, but Shotzi finds that first blood. Whoop. Smoke grenade is going to get popped to potentially work his way on out, and that might play right into the hands because Miami thinking that he left already.
Yeah, well, although Vehicle was seen by Shotzi and he did force the gunfight, punished for it. So we get down to a 2v3, still manageable considering Miami have held on to the bomb the whole way, and Lucky has cleared out more of the map over towards this backside patio.
Now in the 3v2 though. Dashy has gained a little bit of info onto Lucky. He's going to throw that shoulder and simply play his life. That time is continuously ticking down, and they know that Miami eventually have to work the objective. It's a buddy system from Optic Texas through the middle side. Vehicle is going to get spotted. He's going to fall. Now it's Lucky in the 1v3. Easy work right there from Optic to tie the game.
Yeah, there's really no option right there for Vehicle. You can't just stick to plant knowing that Optic is very well in the middle of the map. You got to try to find some damage or a kill to give yourself enough separation for the bomb plant. But once Lucky commits over towards that top patio, you know you're also doing it by yourself. So a really tough situation. Good backup from Optic, and on top of that, never dropping a kill afterwards. Good numbers collection coming through.
And now they're back to the attacking side with a couple trophy systems to assist them over at this A site. So what is going to be play call here for the green wall? As the bomb is going to get recovered. It was Pred being the island man over on that B site by himself. He did get picked off, but this time he's going to switch it up. He's going to work through mid.
Oh, stuns are landing. Shotzi responsible for watching this pop up. Vehicle, little pogo stick push, trying to get some damage done, but a late trophy system keeps everything safe. But Real in the same breath moves forward. Everyone's so focused on Vehicle. Oh, Real can just push right on forward. Assistance from Metals over the top of the statue works out for team shots, and now it's down to Pred again for another 1v3 attempt.
And this is not going to be easy because Metals already gains the info. And Miami, what they do so well to avoid these scenarios is run around together, play the trade. As you can see, they're already applying pressure over towards A. Great positioning right there out of Real to find that final kill.
Yeah.
But if you are Optic Texas and you're trying to get aggressive over towards A, you at least got to put someone in towards top security so you can watch over that statue side, because you're giving up that complete vision on that side of the map. And then when you're forcing yourself to push in, then at that point, you're not checking your corners. Reals and Metals have a perfect crossfire set up. That's just what Miami do on this map on their defensive side.
Yeah, that's all it is Vehicle's bait. Double setup over the top of the statue works out nicely. And Miami continue to build on what has been a great defensive half for them on this map in particular. 3 in a row for Real in the round. Keep that in mind. As this time, a very similar breakoff here from Miami. Another 2-2 split, same players going to the same places. This time, though, Optic focus on the middle of the map here, so they're not going to have at least any early ideas of what's hitting this A site.
Yeah, they're trying to watch the crosses so they can earn the info and then make those mid-round adjustments. As I'm pretty sure Kenny was at least able to spot one, but the team fire right there from Miami finds that first blood. Now you can work that plan.
Yeah, that's just all on Vehicle's comms. He sees that initial cross being launched. Yeah, but there's still questions on what else is at mid-map, and Vehicle's thinking maybe someone's going to like pop a head over just to see if they're actually hitting over towards A. But the noise being made by the Heretics towards B in this moment of silence has created some doubt here for Optic, although a player rotates right into the waiting arms of Pred, and now we're doing 3v3, and still the bomb can't be planted yet.
Yeah, you're allowing Optic Texas to take a lot of map control away from you. So now you have no idea where they're going to apply the pressure over at this A site. Players working through mid, players working through their spawn, and now one player in Shotzi working on that deep pinch. He is going to get caught by Lucky. It's a great first kill.
A little bit of clearance coming out. Lucky also staying safe behind the glass. Dashy gets a good enough look at him to eventually tally the kill. Metals responds with one deeper, though, so now the problem becomes a little bit more multifolded here for Dashy. 1v2 situation, stuck at mid-map, not a lot of time. He's going to have to go and go quickly. Metals, first one up, dealt with swiftly. But where's Vehicle? That's the other question. Not a lot of time remaining, and Vehicle's just going to run around and say, hey, how you doing? Miami, take the round.
Off the back of another first blood. Even though it turns to a 3v3, when Real dies in his position, he now knows that we already saw Shotzi over towards water side. Pred just killing on the middle of the map, so we can start to work that objective because they have to be setting up a pinch. So they take advantage of that moment, and then Lucky finding that first kill onto Shotzi, shutting down the playmaker on that side of the map. Just makes it a lot easier for Miami to keep the numbers in their favor. 2 rounds in a row now for the Heretics.
Clean stuff. And the all-defensive train has now been ended. So onus or towards Optic to see if they can find a way to respond with an offense of their own. Different look here for Optic. A lot of focus over towards B off the get-go. And more so, it's not even just towards B, it's a lot of focus towards the outside at Pool. So Pred will be left at mid-map. Bomb looking to kind of get up and early. I mean, this is something that Optic loves to do. Try to get on and, hey, you're going to allow us to plan. We're going to plan.
try to work that objective down, but you can see how much space Miami have been able to take. Lucky finds another first blood. Now Dashi is not ready for two players to be on the pinch.
Yeah.
In some 4v2, Shotzi and Ped left to try to clutch up.
Oh, but the timing here. Oh, Real, a little spidey sense. Looked like he was giving up on the flank, but instead turns around at the right moment. Shotzi only able to find one in the midst of what was a full collection of Heretics members. And that's going to be a 4-1 tally here. Miami looking really good in their search still.
Whenever I watch Miami play 6-star S&D, whenever you're the team on the opposing side and you try to work that objective over towards B, they're basically 100% on their retakes at that bomb site. Yeah. Every single time they're always finding success, and it makes it a lot easier when you find that initial kill, because now the team in their post-plant setup are forced to change it around because an angle is not being watched. And unfortunately, Dashi, when he tries to pick up that pinch, was just not ready for two players to turn that corner. So Miami Heretics have been unbelievable in search and destroy as of recent, trying to make it 7 in a row here.
Huge cushion. A chance to possibly do something wild if you want to here with the rounds to play with if you're Miami. But still, this has been, again, very predictive in terms of what Miami are doing off the breakoff. Two players one way, two the other. This time, though, medals and a little bit more of a long-range battle with Pred. Shotzi still snuck up, but of course, Miami are very aware that this is a potential play. So they're taking their time, and while they have, they've actually cleared out mid-map completely.
And this can catch Optic off guard because you got two players watching that mid angle. The trade is effective for Miami to keep them in the man advantage. But still Shotzi, potential playmaker here for Optic.
Oh, but clearing out their corners. Medals now up to 6 and 3. Although Dashi takes the player off the bomb. Good shots from Real over the top. Stun also lands. Dashi holding at 50 HP. His second attempt at a 1v3. Miami committing out for the plant. Medals seen at mid. A little bounce pass with the frag. Does that get all the way around the corner? It does. Damage tallied, but the problem here is the bomb is planted and the post-plant setup is perfect. Miami now up 5-1 on the search.
That's another first blood in their back pocket. And even when they find that first kill, Optic Texas effectively trade, but it's an instant response right there for Miami to keep the numbers in their favor. Just right now, Miami are full-out team working every single round. Optic Texas, they're relying on Pred to make island plays across the map, Shotzi to make one-on-one plays through the underground side, and it's just simply not working out. So let's drop all strategies here. Let's run four-way together.
Yeah, that's definitely an option. Try something different for sure. Bomb picked up. Optic. Maybe listening to you here, Jay. All four players immediately going over towards B. This time, Lucky is playing a little bit further forward. Stun out should, well, actually gets denied by a trophy system, but that is still enough information for Miami to know that there is a significant hit over towards B. Quick pinch on the way. Fecal for the first. Follow-up possibly with the rest of the Heretics still coming off the pinch, but Dashi and Pred pick up on it nicely. Real slips through, and the numbers still with Miami, but Pred has a chance to isolate.
Oh, it's going to turn into a one-on-one, and that's going to be Miami Heretics making quick work of the search and destroy. Optic Texas only had one rep on it, and that was a bread and butter one for the Heretics, and they take full advantage of it. Multiple first bloods on the map. It was what, 5-2 in favor of them?
Yeah.
And every single time Optic Texas try to make a bunch of individuals plays happen, Miami always got a read on it. We're never caught slipping, and that's a perfect bounce back right there for Miami Heretics to tie the series up at 1.
7 straight search and destroy wins. 4 of them have been on this map, so you definitely know where they prefer to go, depending on how long this tournament run lasts for them. But 6-1, like you mentioned, the first blood tally is perfect. Lucky also goes 7-2, which is very helpful. But like we said, I mean, sharing is caring with this Miami search and destroy. Everyone has essentially the exact same stat line. First blood is also kind of well shared across the board. You're not looking at one guy or another. It's just all 4 of them.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing a majority of that entire map. Everyone was together, or everyone was at least on the same page in these play calls. On their attacking rounds, it was 2-2 split every time. Yeah. You have a couple players working up through the B street, and if they spot nothing on that side of the map, they were slowly working their way up through middle to reinforce that way back over towards that A site. But it's just Optic Texas just didn't have the amount of bodies to fight Miami Heretics every time those engagements started, because Miami were just always roaming together. Optic were so far split around.
Well, at least the good news here for Miami is that you do get yourself your hardpoint pick in map number 4 for the 6-star, but the Highrise control comes up next, a map that Optic has looked particularly good on. Lots of reps for Miami, though, so it's all about have they been able to find ways to adjust, learn, and adapt to possibly find a way to surprise the green wall here in our final match on Saturday. We'll be back after the break with Highrise control right after this.
your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL. Slice up your competition with the Executive Chef Operator, now available in-game in the Call of Duty store.
Toronto, they turn it into a miracle. Unbelievable.
Lins goes back to the bomb plant. I love it. Is Felony going to get hit fast enough? Oh my goodness, Renetti at the ready. Do it. Do it. Love it. Goodbye, Lins. The round is over.
It doesn't get better. Like, your eyes light up when you catch him as he's running away from it. That's the instant call to hop the bomb. Nasty gonna get that trade, but a 3v2 for Surge, and they are still shooting.
Oh, Nasty wins a big one. Go see. Can he get two as well? What a round. Thieves find the equalizer.
You are dealing with players that are running you down.
Toronto have to reset up again.
This is their last hurrah.
Only 2 defenders inside the zone. The others for New York. Worried about the overextension.
Oh my God.
Drop. Here comes the flood. Skies by himself could do nothing. Trophy system this time gets placed safely. On top of that, it's a 12v2. Toronto looking clear here at A, unless maybe some desperate nades land and popcorn them out of the zone. Hydra tries to step up, and Toronto takes the round 5 offensive win.
Oh my God, Ultra.
Nero on 3 straight. He'll be holding. Get the plant down. You lost a man early. This time you're able to get the first blood. Nero going big. 5 in a row. Looking for 6. Able to keep on eating. Maybe the ace. But I love this. It's all 4. Nero, a monster in that round, and he's on 7 in a row.
I mean, with the score the way it is.
Grab with the double through the hill. Still keeps the opportunity alive for Ultra. They get all 4 dead in the feed. They are potentially going to steal map 1 right now.
But the last 8 seconds are coming through. Kleenex up the middle of the map. Oh! Works out. One more hit coming out of Saban's. Kleenex doing his namesake. Wipes up the floor on the front side of the hard point in Toronto. Turn it into a miracle. Unbelievable. Welcome back to Toronto as we're trying to figure out which of these 2 teams will be the last to join us on Sunday, where the prize pool starts to get heavy. Lots on the line, not just for standings, but of course to pad the pockets. That is also part of the equation here at these major tournaments. So just to remind you, in terms of what is on the line, a top 6 position will get you 15 grand, but tomorrow's where the big money starts to come into play.
Oh my God, $30,000 to $150,000. That's some big chunk of change. So all these teams trying to be the #1 team here to walk away with that big bag of money. But more importantly, those CDL points can play a big part.
Absolutely the case. We have a very tight battle, really from 5th all the way down to about 11th right now with the overall standings. So lots of divvying up to happen both in the points category as well as in the cash front. But as we start to look at this 1-1 map count, which may surprise some just based on the names on stage, Miami's Search and Destroy continues to be great. But again, the problem here is what do you do in respawn against this Optic squad? Because Control really has been miserable for you if you're Miami. You've only won on Karachi. That gets vetoed, and you really don't want to play Optic on Invasion. So now you have to go to a map that you're 0-5 on in this complete stage.
Yeah, you just haven't found any success on this map if you are Miami. 0-5 in the last 5 times they have played this. Everyone's sitting at a 0.8 or under KD. And you're going against Optic Texas, who are one of the best lane teams that we have on this map. So you have to try to rally the troops and put it together here. As now they're already showing a lot of presence over towards this 8-point. Real finds a double, and now Vico's already in your base.
Yeah, Real top heli just completely blows up this defensive setup. Dashy stops the pain over towards the spawn, at least for now. But you've got Real on the zone. A little pinch from Pred takes them away just before the first tick of progress can get locked in. And plus a little snap and extra. Oh, Metal's put in the dirt. But the hit from Miami not fully done yet as trades continue to come across mid-map.
Yeah, but Optic Texas did gain the info that was all for dead. Now everyone from Miami is coming off of the respawn, but a couple players already worked their way out over towards helipad side. Now Optic Texas on the back foot. A couple players trapped in their spawn. Miami able to put that game clock at a pause as they're working up that progression over towards B.
Couple of fingernails seen on the vehicle. Pred steps in after the damage had already been dealt, and with that, a double for him. One more on top of the zone. Pistol out for Real, and nope, not going to beat the MCW of Pred. 5-1 start, 3 in a row, and with only 44 seconds on the clock, it's now or never for Miami to get something going.
They at least get one segment done over towards A, but they all went down at the wrong time because now Optic Texas take full advantage of the map control. They're already aggressive up through the right street. Shotzzy finds a double on that side of the map. Lucky does find one, and he's trying to finesse with his life, but Optic have a read on where the hell he went.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And with, again, more 1v1 gunfights going the way of Optic, that's the slaying presence you were talking about at the beginning of this match, where if you do not battle up and find quick trades, or at least find the initial wins if you're Miami, things like this are going to happen. 17 plays, 12. Takes some progress pretty much off the board completely, and there's no way Miami get back to either of these two zones here.
Yeah, it's going to be Optic Texas coming out swinging on their defense. Keeping the slaying in their favor, only allowing one segment to get away from them. So what a tremendous start from Miami, but Optic Texas get the last laugh as they dominated to close out that defensive round. They put one on the board, and now on their attacking side, all they have to do is make up for 1 segment.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... it feels like too much of a softball, especially considering that even though it's just 2-2 in the qualifying stage and this major 3 so far for Optic, they've given themselves chances to win this map almost every single time they've been on it.
Now they go to their attacking side, and they have trophy systems to work with. So what's the breakoff going to be for the green wall? All the nades, all the stuns coming over the top side of heli, but they're going to slowly work their way over towards this 8-point, and Pred, is now your turn to hit this route.
Propane tank will blow up. Metals finds himself right in the mix, and actually Real does drop to a little bit of friendly fire. So you've got Pred in the spawn. The rest of Optic stopping the clock with major focus over towards B. Miami very aware that this could be a possibility, but Pred pops up, says hello, shakes hands with a couple of heretics, and with that, now progress being made on the B zone.
What is this guy doing? Is he trying to just set the kill record into respawns? Had a phenomenal map number 1, and is just instantly sending it into the pace of Miami. Finds himself on 4 in a row. As that second tick and the third tick at B is going to get complete. Miami have only been able to find 1 kill this entire round.
Yeah, it's been less than good, to say the least. 2 minutes to work with Pred on 5 in a row. Turns over and nearly finds Vico waiting for him. Shotzzy trying to collect on the trade, but Vico a little slippery, slips away. Kenny looking for now finally a possible kill on the vehicle, but still just avoids it just barely, and Miami's defense starts to get set up around the A zone.
They've been able to stabilize a little bit, but it's still Optic Texas contesting around this helipad side. The route being hit by Shotzzy. I thought Metals was going to play for it, but he's able to find that kill. At the same time, Kenny finds one through top heli. So the final 2 players from Miami have to make a play happen. They go 4 dead. Here comes the stack from Optic.
Yeah, Shotzzy could just dance over here as long as he possibly wants to on this window side. Trophy system placed. Stack on. 2 players here. Dashy watching through mid. Everyone else hard focused on these windows. Looking for maybe a pinch to come around the back, but Miami, we gotta go. We gotta find a way, some way to get onto the, at least a look to drop some of these players off the zone. Metals finally provides a double. Pred, beat down works, almost gets the gun up for another fight, but the second tick still gets locked, and you still have Optics trying to set up one last hit.
Yeah, they're already out of their base, so they're able to reinforce quickly, as it wasn't clean 4 dead for Miami. And now Dashy finds a double. The stack is already going to be in. Vico's able to at least find 1, but there's just more bodies on the point for Optic Texas. This has been a struggle for Miami as of recent, and Optic Texas are taking full advantage of it.
Yeah, the Miami control, again, like we said, 2-8, and throughout Major 3, the only 2 wins have come by way of Karachi, which you know how that could provide just random stuff happening. But on these more straightforward maps, Miami is just absolutely getting outgunned, out-captured. It's been, well, bottom 2 in the league across just about every single control category.
And now with their backs against the wall on the attacking side, You obviously know that you have to win a couple attacking rounds to try to close out this map, but you just have to get those guns firing because everyone's sitting negative for Miami. Everyone basically positive for Optic besides Kenny by 1 kill, but it just has to be a great startup for Miami, and they're already finding that first kill to work their way out.
And a little bit of info that Prent's pulling over towards their side. But the teamwork that we praised so heavily in the search and destroy has been absent for the most part here in trying to approach these zones. Finally, Vehicle's double gives enough space and time for Real to jump into the zone, but he's not your trophy carrier, so he's got to be careful about any incoming utility. A little bit more supply coming out of Miami over through this B Street. Metals winning another 1v1 will leave an opportunity for Miami to lock down this first tick with a couple of the kills behind it.
Yeah, first segment going to be locked up, and they also have a lot of B Street control. So Optic Texas, you have to hit your stuns, you have to hit your nades, or try to apply pressure through the middle side of the map. That second segment about to get complete, but Shotzi jumping up on the railings, able to take down 2 players. Now they know there's only 1 player left on this point in Vehicle because of how slow the progression is going up. They're just more focused on keeping everyone trapped in this back of the spawn.
Yeah, it's almost one of those things like, hey, we got ourselves a second round win on the offense. We can just get into your spawn, win this game out right here, even if you do capture me. But even that hasn't come through. Less than 50 seconds to play. Fred, in and out of every single gunfight, it feels like he's 14-5. He is putting on a masterclass in respawn against the Miami Heretics, and with still 21 lives remaining, and Shotzi now on 5. It just goes from bad to worse that fast if you're a Heretics fan.
Yeah, this is probably GG already. With only 30 seconds left, all of Optic Texas is pre-aiming every single window. They have all the cover fire set up. Cruise missiles in the back pocket of Shotzi. He's probably not even going to need to invest it because it's only 20 seconds and Miami have yet to find a kill. That's now 14 in a row for Optic.
Shotgunning players right now with Shotzi. Slips behind over towards the couch and
Hello!
You wanted to give the people what they wanted, but ran out of ammunition flat out. Not going to make much of a difference in the scheme of things. 18 lives, no more time, and Miami's already talking about 6-star hardpoint.
Yeah, and I think that was a 5-minute control right there.
6-12, Jay.
That was way too fast. Obviously, Miami, they didn't really have a lot of options in the control vetoes. Because Optic Texas said, no, we're going to take away the map that you like to play, the only map that you found success with this roster in Karachi. Now you're forced to make a decision. Are you going to play us on Invasion, which you're probably not going to have a good time, or are you going to play us on Highrise? And you could just tell by the faces of Miami, they knew that they stood no chance on that Highrise control. They find themselves down 2-1, but they're still not out of this series because 6-star has treated them well so far in this stage.
Yeah, it absolutely has, but I think just the overarching point, and this will be, I think, more of a conversation when we get into Major 4, is for the teams that aren't in the top 4, they really need to do some work on their control pool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, flat out, our top 4 squads can play any single map at any given moment in time, it feels like. Whereas for teams like Carolina and Seattle and Miami in particular here, it is one of those things like we got one good map and everyone's going to know what it is. So you take that out of the picture and all of a sudden it's just almost like a free map when it feels like for the top 4 squads.
Yeah, for every team outside of the top 4, you obviously know you're still trying to contest your way all the way to champs, what most of the teams are besides one.
Sure.
You have to try to extend that map pool. You have to put more into your map pool so you can have a variety of what you want to play, not solo onto one map. So going forward for Miami, even if they fall short in this series, they're definitely going to put in a lot of practice on the back end because coming out and playing the way that they have so far this weekend, they have caused a lot of upsets, turned a lot of heads, and gained a lot of points as well to keep them in a spot for that chance bracket. But the series is far from over. If you are Miami, you're going into a 6-star HP where you find yourself on 3 wins in a row. Some insane clutches in the final couple ones that they have played, but they feel comfortable here.
Yeah, and the thing about those insane clutches, just to kind of maybe play the opposite side of the sword here, is it was versus a Vegas team and a Thieves team that here on land did not show the same potential that we had seen through their online qualifying stage. And on the same rate, you're also playing up against an Optic team that is outslaying just about everybody in hardpoint. Yeah. So, you know, it's not like it's a clear cut, you know, consideration that Miami's going to be able to win this map for, but there is a potential for it because it's a well-rehearsed map. They found success on it, but you're playing against Optic, so you have to find ways to really concentratedly focus on what has done well for you and put yourself in a position to try to execute like that against Optic.
The good thing is that they've been sitting around all day, so they were watching every single match. They just watched Optic play this versus Toronto, and they fell short all the way at the very end of the game. And the way that Toronto were able to be successful there was simply rotating Optic in certain aspects, but then their setups were basically unbreakable.
Yeah.
And that is going to be difficult here for Optic Texas. They are 11th overall on this map in break percentage. They're always a team finding themselves early off that rotation to get great holds, but when they are forced to break into hills, it's everyone scattered. Everyone trying to go for one-on-one gunfights, and if Miami are strong on their setups, they should be able to withstand that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still, you know, and I'm sure we'll see some sort of graphic representation of this. Rotationally, Miami's still not any better here.
Nope.
They just find ways that in mixy moments, they do find good efficiency on the hard point. Whether you consider that a hold or a break doesn't really make much of a difference. It just, you cannot get outpaced again by this Optic team on a map that they're very familiar with. And again, like you mentioned, they even had a time after watching them play adverse crowds say, oh, here was the 1 or 2 mistakes that we made. Let's polish that up, take care of business here.
And just hopefully Optic Texas don't come out and play hardpoint in this map number 4 like the way that they did in map number 1.
Fair.
Because it wasn't that clean. They were able to sit on the backpack of Fred. It was able to kill everything in sight. And thankfully, closing out that map number 1 the way that they did, but they have to keep those fundamental plays in the back of their pocket. We have to block the certain back spawns. We have to rotate early. We have to execute holds and breaks together as a team. It can't fall into any individual's hands.
Yeah, don't get complacent after what was a breeze of a control. You know, saying, hey, we're just better than these guys, so let's just go and be better than these guys again. Like, you can't afford to make mistakes, because like we had also mentioned for Miami, a lot of their map and series wins have come by way of their opponents making some critical errors. So here is that graphic we were talking about, 10th in rotation, but great in holds, great on breaks. That kept Miami in the mix, swing over the sub base, but can they stop that guy? Pred has had a masterclass respawn series, looking to follow up with the map 4 here.
Here we go early on into the P1. They're just trying to wait out the stuns and nades from Optic Texas because they know they're going to rain heavy over towards that VIP side. But Optic already taking a lot of time here. They just have to find effective trades, and it's a 2-2 split.
Yeah, well, at least off the rip. Decent numbers here for Miami. Follow-up from Vikul is good. And like we saw in sub-base, hey, good focus over the top of the first hard point. Only benefit here on top of that is that you also have P2 over towards your side of the map, at least for now. Optic working on that, but still need to put together a bit of a contest here on P1.
Oh, and Pred is able to win that one-on-one gunfight as well versus Real. So still the spawns in the backside for Miami are going to be there, but you at least put the focus now onto Optic Texas. Everyone trying to apply pressure through the middle of the map. They find the break, but look at how fast they are off the rotation. Miami going to be late to the party over at P2.
And Real inside of vents, though, has become a bit of a problem here for Optic. Shotzi tries to jump on in. Kenny on the corner. That's good enough for the shutdown, but Miami with numbers try to move their way around this side staircase, have forced Optic off the hard point, and with that, they've earned spawns back. So now it's just down to can you find the kills. This is where it matters the most, though. And well, for Optic, they have collected to this point. First 2 go their way. Real gets red. Semtex takes care of him. Steps away to find the 5th kill onto Vikul.
I love how he didn't commit on that gunfight, knowing that the sticky was going to hit him. And he plays for the 2nd kill. He's already on 6 in a row. Cruise missile in the back pocket. But you will take this if you are Miami. At least you were able to flip your way out for that P3 rotation. But you can't give up all this time to Optic Texas. You have to try to contest to the front, because with Pred having that cruise missile, it can lead to an easy break for Optic off that next hill.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden you start to get a couple of kills cleanly in the scrap time, and Optic can fully afford to focus on this hit through the front. Shotzi able to help out and isolate on towards Vikul, but Miami still holding strong. Kenny around the back nearly slips through, but Miami pick it up at the perfect time, and as the hard point opens, the Heretics will start earning some time.
Yeah, they're going to get at least 10 uncontested seconds, because there was a route trying to be hit by Pred. He does get red out of Vikul, but now instantly off the respawn. You're going to call in this cruise missile. Going to try to back players down from their positioning. It's not going to be able to connect on anything. So all you have to do is just clutch up in these fights, and Miami are able to find the initial 2.
Yeah, 4 in a row for Real, playing backside bar, but now it's Dashy on 4. Metal stops the streak there. Spawn still decent for the Heretics, but Optic have a chance to set up multiple points of ingress on this next break attempt. Still 30 seconds to fight for. Pred stunned just as he tries to hit forward, and Real follows up off his respawn with more, leaving Dashy by himself. And well, he may give this one more heroic try, but Miami have gotten the read, and they deal with it and have the scrap.
That's beautiful plays right there out of Miami. They withstood that cruise missile coming in. They were able to hold their guns, everyone pre-aiming to the front side, because not a single player from Optic Texas decided to hit a route. Like, if Pred is going to call in that cruise, we have to put someone in a position to block that back spawn. You can't allow them to initially just flood their way back on in. Miami get a flawless 60 hold to take the lead by a little bit, but at least if you're Optic, you cut your losses, you win a rotation to next.
Lucky though, gets one, slips away, keeps his life. Focus for Real, trying to follow up on mid-map, but everyone stays alive, at least largely so. Optic hold on to the backside spawns. Miami have to try to find a way to break this thing from the front. Metal's up and over. 1-for-1's not bad, but it all falls onto Lucky, and a late Semtex for Pred stops the push.
And look at that spawn coming in from Metals. His shots are going to get a read on it. He does, but he's not able to win the gunfight. So now the pressure is going to be here for Miami. It's going to fall into the hands of Kenny and Dashy, and Lucky's able to get the better of them both. That leads to the break for Miami. Still a very tight game that we have on our hands, but Optic Texas still trying to reinforce with their numbers on their side.
The breaking stats continue to keep Miami in the mix. Real also having a great map number 4, 14-8. Lots of time at the hard point. A little slip away from Shotzi, but doesn't get the separation to retake the gunfight. So now we take our focus back over towards the pool. Lucky taking orders at the bar, and well, Kenny sends one right his way with a Semtex to take him out of the picture. Metals, though, a double with help from Real actually allows Miami a chance to win this rotation.
That's perfect plays right there from Miami. Great teamwork, great crossfire to find all those kills off of the rotation. So they're going to be the team initially in towards this HP. How are Optic Texas deciding to work their break on in? You're trying to have at least a couple players work their way through the middle of the map, but that angle gets cut off, and now you have to push right through the front.
It's just, where does this Real come from? I'll tell you first-handedly, watching him play at Challengers last year, moments where he tries to make plays like this happen, doesn't work out, but he's pulling it off versus one of the team's best hardpoint teams. He has been unbelievable. 16-11, shut down. Texas still inside the hardpoint, 23 seconds to fight.
But Metals finding a double. That's another great play out of him. Single-handedly shutting down the pressure from Optic Texas at this P5. You're able to execute the break. Final 15 could potentially going to be yours, because now Optic Texas are forced to cut their losses. But back over to the P1 we go, where this is going to be an absolute battle to start it off.
Shotzi gets the first, but Lucky goes untallied over towards the top side of DJ booth. That's enough for a double. Dashy staying alive over towards Nest, but doesn't have a chance to contest. Has to wait for help. Real right over the back. You've got number 6 in Metals, also watching a bit of a cross through mid. As Optic set up this hit approach. A lot of it coming right from the front. Dashy with the opener. Pred from the pitch. All working out. Vikul shuts it down. Real follows up. They're just down to finding Kenny, and it's a 4-for-1 exchange. Miami in the hill.
And Miami are making it so difficult for Optic Texas to work their way in towards this HP. Every time they're getting a couple kills, Miami players are flying out of every single quarter and trading effectively. And they are still holding on to this P1 time. There's 25 seconds left. If you are Optic, you do not want to be too aggressive and potentially spawn your way out. But all the kills go in your favor. You just got to be able to read the route out of Vikul that allows the Miami Heretics to get that back spawn.
And they're all about trying to play for this old time here as well. Kenny steps away, trying to find some sort of an anchor. Shotzi will spawn right into the waiting arms of Vikul. The pistol works out. Great response. Optic still trying to hold on to the back spawns, but it's split. And with this, Miami, their full focus around the back is looking good as we jump to a Heretics. Listen in.
Salen doble, salen P3, sí, incluso le he visto yo. Corta los loops, dentro. Está a la izquierda. Buscamos un último de frente.
Muy tocada, muy tocada.
Otro tiro derecha.
¿Me podéis pillar el pad?
Creo derecha. Se va a punto muerto. Uno de cara, son dos de frente. Aguanta pad. Otro más, si quieres tiro.
Salen el jump abajo, ¿vale? Al fondo conmigo uno y otro nada más cruz izquierda. Cruz izquierda ascensor.
Un tiro de así, ¿vale? Voy a ir por medio yo. Son dos bien, ese uno, ese dos. Medio Kenny muerto. Nadie viene a blanco. Sí, sí. Blanco todavía no, te lo tengo ahora. Blanco no le veo. Está tumbado, blanco. Sí, está muerto anterior. Zika y uno. Casi muerto anterior.
Va en barra. Juca, cuidado la barra. La barra, Va a echar él, tocado. Barra y punto, se ha puesto blanco, ahí otro más un punto. Blanco otro.
Vale, estoy enfrente yo. Pre-curva, muerto.
Tenemos primera.
Curva, tiki, pase uno, eso medio, si es uno da así.
Segundo muerto.
Buena, ya está, buscamos
Voy por rápido,
medio uno,
curva, close.
Muerto,
La plantita del medio.
Muerto, DJ.
Plantita
de frente,
Otro más curva conmigo, close. Jump up y planta.
Vale, avísame. Toca, no le hace
la rotación ahora,
Oh, a couple of world stars come through for Optic Texas. Right back in the game, another rotation win, and this time not getting broken in the first 30. Lucky trying to force the play. Metals trying to follow up behind it, and okay, decent scrap time here for Miami, but Optic putting full focus on rotation.
Yeah, that was beautiful play right there out of Optic Texas. They knew that there was at least a couple players from Miami through that backside, but if you were Miami in that situation, you won the initial gunfights to put yourself in that position, but then you were just way too aggressive, not allowing your teammates to pinch to the front before you decided to apply that pressure at that hill. Now Optic Texas find themselves in a little bit of a lead. They win the rotation over towards B4, and the backstones from Miami are getting easily read out of Shotzzy.
You just have to get something set up right here if you're Miami. You cannot allow Optic to take this back 45. Shotzzy, undeniable inside of security. Trades, though, decent. Miami going to have an opportunity to try to hit this pretty darn quickly. Kenny, the last one standing, and he only gets one. So, again, another break comes through. Miami's still in the game, and they've got numbers on the hill.
And this is big time as well. Basically tie the game up and grow yourself a little bit of a lead. So Optic Texas do not want to give this one up for free. But that decision might just be made for them, as all the kills in the feed are in favor of the Heretics. Now with only 18 seconds, someone else has to hit that rotation. It's going to fall into the hands of Dashy. They tried to attempt one more break and it leads to no success. So Miami are going to have a little bit of a lead over towards this next HP. But Optic have to now make this one count.
Yeah, the cutoff gets hit. Dashy cannot really jump into the hard point, not for right now. Needs supplying support from the middle of the map. Miami gets two. A chance for them to jump to the hard point early, but the trophy system does not get placed successfully. Real still absolutely popping off 36 and 20, dives right into the hard point, but can't quite find the swimmer. Shotzzy so slippery, but eventually dealt with Real now. Possibly a chance to stay alive, but Miami not here with numbers, and Optic are in the hill.
Optic are in the hill. Now they have full control of it. They know exactly where the Heretics are going to be spawning. So Pred just trying to be a nuisance, be right up in their face, up close and personal with this Rava 9. He's only able to take down one. But now you're trying to set up your teammates for these final couple of kills. Dashy with the Renetti, he usually finds a lot of success, but it's very difficult in towards the water. Optic Texas can no longer win it at this HP. They have to find themselves off the rotation the next.
This is a big back 15 seconds. Shotzzy just over the entryway into the pool, finds another kill. Scrap time going to go to Optic. Miami still do not have numbers over through the middle of the map. This is just down to do they get a couple of straight picks, and Lucky's actually able to tally the first. Kenny over the backside. Beat Gold, giving him a little bit of a dance, and here comes the chance for a break. 241 to 214. Brett on the pitch. First one good, second one no. Miami's in.
And the spawns flip as well. So if you are Optic Texas, this is the same exact situation they had versus Toronto. They were just going one by one. You cannot afford to do that here. Shotzzy and Kenny combined for two. They start off the trade fights. They find three in the feed. Optic Texas will be able to move on to Championship Sunday.
Wow, do they have to work for it? Whew. Oh my goodness. Moments of nerves for sure throughout both hard points, but when it matters most, Optic doing what they do best. Finding the ice, finding the clutch. Brett, another huge start, appropriately so. Also one of the X factors in closing out that final hill. And what was an absolute mammoth game from Real. I mean, that is by far the best we've seen from him to this point. And it comes at a hell of a time, just not quite enough to get to a map number 5.
It was just that turning point in the game, man, at that P3. They were finding a lot of success in the time at P2. And then they sent a couple players with one set of kills off that rotation early. Lucky wins a one-on-one. He puts himself in that back position to block those back spawns for that P3 HP. But then when they put two players on that side of the map, all of Optic Texas were in towards the HP. Miami just rushed it. That was all it simply came down to. If you play it patient through the backside, Optic have to spawn all the way across the map with all the kills that you get, but you also allow your teammates to the front side to set up that pinch to lead to the break. But they don't find it. You allow Optic Texas to get a full 60 there, keep it scrappy all the way to the very end, but just one set of kills is all they need to close it out at that P1.
It almost felt like at a moment there, as we were going from 4 to 5, it's like Miami felt like they could win the game, and they were trying to force it, forcing themselves into 2v4 situations, 1v2 situations. Not what you want to see, especially against a team that, again, has been one of the most clutch we've seen in tight hard point games. So, heck of a run from Miami, but it does come to an end after a 4